Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Shabbat Shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. We read it, not the Torah. We read it from the prophets, the wisdom books and the Psalms. Can't forget about the gospel and the epistles and all the letters in the New Testament. This the new covenant, congregation of Israel. We authenticator, seeking out the lost sheep of the house of Yehuda, singing praises to Yahweh and his son Yeshua. Now all the men of Israel rise on up. We say the commandments. Look, mama, no fringes. His mercy endures forever. Blessed to see another Sabbath, the Sabbath day of the week, where all his saints gather. Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Shabbat Shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Yisrael. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Lead the world out there. Sisters, cover your hair. Brothers, gird your loin. Deacon, blow the ram's horn. Now sit back and listen. What the Spirit saying to the churches. Keep his commandments, law, statutes, and judgments. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Whoever said the law was done away with Israel, they lied. What part of forever that they don't understand? As it is written, his saints will take the land. Now invite the angel that stand at the door to come in and sup with us, and us with him as we read out of this great legacy, the greatest love story ever told, more valuable than silver and gold. Many are called, but few are chose. Yahweh willing, we make it home. Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Shabbat Shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Shabbat Shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Shabbat Shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. We read it, not the Torah. We read it from the prophets, the wisdom books and the Psalms. Can't forget about the gospel and the epistles and all the letters in the New Testament. This the new covenant, congregation of Israel. We authenticator, seeking out the lost sheep of the house of Yehuda, singing praises to Yahweh and his son Yeshua. Now all the men of Israel rise on up. We say the commandments. Look, mama, no fringes. His mercy endures forever. Blessed to see another Sabbath, the Sabbath day of the week, where all his saints gather. Shabbat Shalom, my brother. Shabbat Shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, Judah. Shabbat Shalom, Yisrael. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Lead the world out there. Sisters, cover your hair. Brothers, gird your loin. Deacon, blow the ram's horn. Now sit back and listen. What the Spirit saying to the churches. Keep His commandments, law, statutes, and judgments. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Whoever said the law was done away with Israel, they lied. What part of forever that they don't understand? As it is written, His saints will take the land. Now invite the angel that stand at the door to come in and sup with us, and us with Him as we read out of this great legacy, the greatest love story ever told, more valuable than silver and gold. Many are called, but few are chose. Yahweh willing, we make it home. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, my brother. Shabbat shalom, my sister. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. Shabbat shalom, Judah. Shabbat shalom, Israel. This means peace on Yahweh's Sabbath. We read it, not the Torah. We read it from the prophets, the wisdom books, and the Psalms. Can't forget about the gospel and the epistles and all the letters in the New Testament. This the new covenant. Congregation of Israel. We authenticate, seeking out the lost sheep of the house of Yehudah, singing praises to Yahweh and His Son Yeshua. Now all the men of Israel rise on up. When we say the commandments. Beyond the surface, beyond the surface, beyond the surface, beyond the surface. The prince of this wicked world, the god of confusion, got black folk experiencing of strong delusions. Got ears that can't hear, mouths that won't speak, eyes that can't see that this curse is so deep. Deaf, dumb, and blind, committing sin/crime, repent. Oh Israel, we're running out of precious time in the land where they saying God's word is dead, and you wondering why the innocent blood is shed. That's cause Satan's in the earth, he's walking to and fro, doing what he's told, being his status quo. Tempting man with pleasure and wickedness, denying the master, saying don't keep his commandments. Our wisdom and our knowledge in the sight of nations, but you love earthly riches than salvation. That means get safety from tribulation and wrath. The broad way leads to death, and narrow is the path. Preach the gospel, spread the good news. The son of Elohim, Yeshua, king of the Jews, not king of the Christians. Nothing they do is Christ-like. They criminals of Yahweh, outlaws in His sight. Same-sex marriage is okay with the president. That old serpent, the devil, is controlling the government. No prayer in the school system, no truth in the black churches. That's food in our neighborhoods, children killing with no mercy. Look beyond the surface and show yourself approved. Do your own research, seek the spirit of truth. Beyond the surface, beyond the surface, beyond the surface.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the Beyond the Surface program. My name is Joseph ben Israel, and I am the elder priest of the Cultural Center of the New Covenant Congregation of Israel. We are located at 3901A Covenant Highway, Indicator, Georgia 30032. Our phone number is 404-286-5869. The website is www.thencci.org. Again, welcome to the Beyond the Surface program. Today's topic is, let your women keep silence in the churches. Let me repeat that. Let your women keep silence in the churches. Now, if you've watched this program before, you know you must have your Bibles out to follow along with what we're talking about today. Christians have always proclaimed that Paul brought Christianity to the Gentiles. But when we actually read the letters of Paul, we can see that Christians have never really read all of the letters of Paul, nor have they understood what they have read. For instance, when the Apostle Paul wrote to the Corinthians saying, let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. But that does not line up with Christianity, with the Christianity that Christians practice today. Today we have black female Christians in the seats of authority, from Bishop Vashti Murphy McKenzie from the AME Church and the Right Reverend Barbara Clementine Harris, the first black woman to be considered a bishop in the worldwide Anglican Communion, and Bishop Rose Hudson Wilkin, the first black woman to become a bishop in the Church of England. And so with so much women having power in the church, that means that the Apostle Paul could not have brought Christianity to the Gentiles. Just on that single matter. Paul could not have brought Christianity to the Gentiles because you have women in so many positions of authority in the Christian church. You have women preachers. You have women getting the Holy Ghost and shouting in the church. But Paul said, let your women keep silence in the church. So, which is right? The Christianity of the day of Paul. So Paul could not have brought you Christianity if the women said what they want to say and doing what they want to do. Because Paul said, let your women keep silence in the churches, and it's not one black Christian church does not let women keep silence. They got so much to talk about. And the same thing about it is that black men allow them to say all those things. Now, what did the Apostle Paul say about women in the church? Let's see. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34 and 35. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34 and 35. Now, this is Paul's letter. Now, does this sound like Christianity? Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for women to speak in the church. Now again, does that sound like Christianity? No. So how can you say Paul brought Christianity to the Gentiles and they don't accept this? Shouldn't that be part of Christianity too? Let's continue. Let's go to 1 Timothy 2, verse 8 to verse 15. 1 Timothy 2, verse 8 to verse 15. I will therefore that men pray everywhere, lifting up holy hands without wrath and doubting. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but with which becometh women professing godliness with good works. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer. What happened? Did all the lights go out? They're good? Okay. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing, if they continue in faith and love and holiness with sobriety. So, that does not sound like Christianity. Well, look at what it says here, and compare what you see today. In like manner also, this is 1 Timothy 2, verse 9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair of gold or pearls or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. Well, look at the women that go to church today. It's a fashion show. You got black women with hair going down to the crack of their butts. Black women hair don't grow that long. And then they have the black Christian pastors with the big BBLs standing up and let everybody in the church see how big her butt is, wearing skin-tight dresses and trying to preach the gospel. Now, that does not sound like what we have as far as Christianity is concerned, what Paul is talking about. Look what it says about what Paul said about women. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broader hair, like not with plaited hair, or gold or pearls or costly array. Well, that's what you get in the black Christian church. All of what Paul's speaking against black Christian churches allow. So again, how can you say that Paul brought Christianity to the Gentiles and they do opposite of what Paul says? Look at what it says here. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. They will never be in silence. Black women will never, black Christian women, they got more to say about Christianity than the black man. They know more about God than the black man. But he says, let the women learn in silence. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. That is not Christianity of today. Because women are taking over the churches, seeking to unseat the authority of the man, usurp the authority of the man. That's what they've done. That's what they call Christianity. So how can you say this is Christianity when it tells the women you can't do this, you can't usurp authority over the man? That is not Christianity. So how is it possible that you say Paul brought Christianity to the church, to the Gentiles, when Paul is speaking against Christianity? Let's continue. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11, verse 1 to verse 15. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 1 to verse 15. Tell me if this sounds like Christianity. Be you followers of me, even as I also am of the Messiah. Now I praise you, brethren, that you will remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is the Messiah, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of the Messiah is Elohim, is God. That does not sound like Christianity, because women refuse to have a man rule over them. Now that's Christianity. Because women got power to say we don't want a man to rule over us. That's Christianity. So how can you say Paul brought Christianity to the Gentiles when they don't do anything Paul tells them to do? Let's continue. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered, dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one as if she were shaven. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. You ain't going to find one black Christian woman going into church with her head covered. Because she got on that wig, she got on the extensions, and she paid a lot of money for that. And she's not going to cover that up because she wants people to see how long her hair is, as long as a white woman's hair. That's a black Christian woman. She wants to be seen. So she's not going to cover her head like Paul says a woman should cover her head. So does that sound like Christianity? Verse 7, for a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of Elohim, but the woman is the glory of the man. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. The woman was created for the man. You ain't got that in the Christian church. The Christian church says man is created for the woman. As a matter of fact, you got some black women saying that the woman was created first. Again, Paul does not say those things. So again, Paul did not bring Christianity to the Gentiles. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither the woman without the man in the master. For as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman, but all things of Elohim. Judge in yourselves, is it comely that a woman pray unto Elohim uncovered? Does not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him? Look at the men, the black men, got them braids all the way down to the crack of their butts, like they're women. They said, Paul said that's a shame. But that is Christianity today. So you cannot say Paul brought Christianity to the Gentiles. Look at all these black men with hair down to their ass. Who are they trying to impress? Are they trying to have more hair than the women? Is that what they're trying to see? How if their hair is long as a man's hair? So which one is the man? Which one is the woman? You see what I'm saying? Both of them are fakes. That's Christianity. Black men don't have hair that long. Black women don't have hair that long. But look at them when they go to church. They got hair all the way down to their ass, trying to be white. That's what it is. They try to be white. Something wrong with black people. Let's continue. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 7, verse 1 to verse 13. Again, we're seeing what Paul says about the women in the church. Now, concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife have not power of her own body, but the husband, And likewise also the husband had not power of his own body, but the wife. The wife is not supposed to reject her husband, and the husband is not supposed to reject his wife. That's why don't nobody want to marry a black woman. Don't nobody want to marry her. Black men stay away from her. As a matter of fact, black men are going to white women. Because the evilness of black women prevents them from getting married. And see, they can't even see where the evil is in them. Yes, black women, well, look at the marriage rate of black women. 28% of them are married. So they can look at the statistics themselves and say, something's wrong with this picture. There's something wrong with you. Because you refuse to submit yourself to your husband. You refuse to allow your husband access to your body. You ain't supposed to reject your husband when he wants you. You ain't supposed to get no headache every time you ask for some. See, that's why don't nobody want to marry a black woman. Because she is totally evil. 28% marriage? Something wrong with black women. There's nothing wrong with black men. There's something wrong with black women. They are evil. That's what's wrong with them. And no man wants to be married to an evil woman for 40 or 50 years. He ready to die after the first year. You see what I'm saying? So the Christianity is really ruled over by black women. So that's why when you go to a black church, it's all women. Black men know not to go into a black church. They know better. They just stay at home. Let me continue. Defraud you not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that you may give yourself to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. Well, he's just saying it's all right to separate yourselves. You need to chill out, because it's not easy for two grown people to live together. So every now and then, yeah, you need to separate it, but then you got to come back together. But I speak this by permission and not of commandment. For I would that all men were even as I myself, but every man hath his proper gift of Elohim, one after this manner and another after that. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows that it is good for them if they abide even as I. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Adonai, let the wife depart, let not the wife depart from her husband, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried and be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. So if she leaves her husband, she cannot marry somebody else. She's still married to her husband. And if she is married, marry someone else, then she is committing adultery, and the man is marrying her is committing adultery, and the judgment for adultery is what? Death. Oh, that's right. In Christianity, there is no judgment because there is no law. So y'all can do anything you want. A woman can leave her husband and marry another woman. A man can leave his wife and marry another man. That's Christianity. Paul never said that. But to the rest I speak not the Adonai. If any brother have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. And the woman which hath a husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. So again, what he said, if you don't believe in the Messiah, but your husband don't mind you staying there, the husband don't believe in the Messiah, and the wife don't mind them staying there, let them stay together. But see, in America, if a brother If a wife doesn't believe in the Messiah and the brother does, well, the brother's going to tell his wife, don't bring that Christmas tree in this house. She's going to blow up. What do you mean you don't bring a Christmas tree in this house? You better get off your ass and go out there and get me a tree and put some bulbs on them and put some toys around them that bad boy. See now you got a problem. See, now you got to deal with a woman that believes in Santa Claus. And the man believes in the Messiah, Yeshua. So eventually, yeah, it's going to come to a head because she can't turn loose Santa Claus. She got to have her Santa Claus. Let's continue. What did Christ say about women? See, you don't even believe what Paul says. Let's see what Christ said about women. Let's go to Matthew 5, verse 27 and 28. Matthew 5. See, y'all don't bother reading the book. Y'all just go by hearsay. Matthew 5, verse 27 and verse 28. You have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, have committed adultery with her already in his heart. Well, look how women are dressed today. There is nothing left to the imagination. The clothes are too tight. They got breasts out to here. They got makeup and lipstick on and eyelashes out to here. So what they're doing is they want somebody to pay attention to them, so they dress up to gain attention. Well, the innocent man walking down the street, going to look at her, not understanding that she's trying to get him to lust after her, and that's what he does. But he doesn't understand women, because all that is to get attention, not only from the men, but from other women too. They like other women looking at them. I don't understand why, since they're out in competition. Let's go to Matthew 19, verse 1 to verse 9. Again, we're going to see what Christ said about women. But you're never going to hear this in a Christian church, especially a black Christian church. Matthew 19, verse 1 to verse 9, it says, And it came to pass that when Yeshua had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee and came into the coast of Judea beyond Jordan. And great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, Have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they two shall be one flesh? Wherefore they are no more two, but one flesh. What therefore Elohim have joined together, let not man put asunder. They say unto him, Why did Moshe then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? And he says unto them, Moshe, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery, and whoso marry her which is put away, does commit adultery. Again, you cannot marry a woman that's been divorced as long as her husband is still alive. You must, again, these are the things that the Messiah is talking about as far as women are concerned, because back in these days when you see what the Pharisees say, well, why did Moshe give us a law concerning the writing of divorcement? Well, it was easy to put away a woman for any reason back in them days, before the Messiah. A woman can just come in late one day, and the husband gets so upset with her, he said, don't bother coming back in. Or she may not be able to cook as well as his mother cooked, and he can put her out the house for that. Or she got her toes or her breath smell bad, and he can divorce her for that. You see what I'm saying? So the Mashiach straightened that thing, put some sanity to the divorce requirement, and said, unless you catch her in the act of adultery or fornication, you cannot put her away. You got to put up with that stinking breath and that stinking butt. Let me stop here. and invite you out to the cultural center of the New Covenant Congregation of Israel. Again, we're located at 3901A Covenant Highway, Indicator, Georgia 30032. Our phone number is 404-286-5869. The website is www.thencci.org. We have a prophecy class every first day of the week, which is Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. Come on out and see what the prophets say about your future. If you cannot join us in person, you can join us on Facebook and on YouTube. We have our history class every third day of the week, which is Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. And come on out and see what your history book tells you about yourself, because the Bible is your history book. If you cannot join us in person, you can join us on Facebook and on YouTube. We also have a sisters only class every fifth day of the week, which is Thursday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Come and you can reach the sisters on Zoom. And lastly, we have a Sabbath service every seventh day of the week, which is Saturday at 1 o'clock p.m. Come on out and see what it is like to remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. If you cannot join us in person, you can join us on Facebook and on YouTube. Let's continue here and see what the Messiah said about women. Let's go to Luke 7, verse 40 to verse 50. Luke 7, verse 40 to verse 50. Now, this particular event happened when a woman came in with an alabaster box and started anointing the Messiah. And the Pharisees is saying, if he knew what kind of woman this was, he wouldn't let her touch him. Let's pick up the conversation in verse 40. And Yeshua answering said unto him, Simon, I have somewhat to say unto thee. And he said, Master, say on. There was a certain creditor which had two debtors. The one owed 500 pence and the other 50. And when they had nothing to pay, he frankly forgave them both. Tell me, therefore, which of them would love him most? Simon answered and said, I suppose that he to whom he forgave the most. And he said unto him, Thou hast rightly judged. And he turned to the woman and said unto Simon, Seest thou this woman? I entered into thine house. Thou gavest me no water for my feet, but she hath washed my feet with tears and wiped them with the hairs of her head. Thou gavest me no kiss, but this woman since the time I came in have not ceased to kiss my feet. My head with oil thou did not anoint, but this woman have anointed my feet with ointment. Wherefore I say unto thee, her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loveth much. But to whom little is forgiven, the same loveth little. And he says unto her, Thy sins are forgiven. And they that sat at meat with him began to say within themselves, Who is this that forgiveth sins also? And he said unto the woman, Thy faith hath saved thee, go in peace. This is what Christ says about women. Now that doesn't mean that she's got to stay in sin. Now let's keep it straight. Let's go to John 16 and verse 21. John 16 and verse 21. A woman, when she is in travail, will have sorrow, because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembereth no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. Now that's what Christ says. She rejoices because she brought forth a man-child. Let's continue. Let's go to Luke 10, verse 38 to verse 42. Luke 10, verse 38 to verse 42. Now it came to pass as they went, they entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Yeshua's feet and heard his word. But Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him and said, Master, dost thou not care that my sister have left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. And Yeshua answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things. But one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen that good part which shall not be taken away from her. So she wanted to see what the Messiah had to say. She ain't got time to be waiting on tables. So the Messiah said, that's all right, because she wants to hear what I got to say. So you go on about your business and let your sister alone and let her listen to what I'm saying. What did the law and the prophets say about women? Well, let's go to Genesis chapter 2. Again, we try to search out more about what the book says about women as opposed to what Christianity says about women. This is Genesis chapter 2, verse 21 to verse 25. And Yahweh Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof, and the rib which Yahweh Elohim had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. So that's how the first woman came into being. She came from a man. But what do women say today? A woman don't need a man. But that's how you got started, from a man. Now you say, I don't need a man? So what you're saying, that you black women out there that say that you don't need a man, that means you have no God. All this time you've been crying in the white man's God, JC, but he don't give a damn about you. Because look how you dressed. You think God wants to meet a woman look like you? Makeup on and eyelashes out to the street? Is that what God's looking for? Satan looking for that. Because Satan likes to tempt people, doesn't he? Well, isn't that what a black woman does when she wears them tight dresses and eyelashes and lipstick to church? Isn't she trying to tempt man like Satan tried to tempt man? That's what a woman does when she wears lipstick to church and makeup and eyelashes and long hair. She is trying to tempt a man to do something. Satan does that. When you read the book, who did the serpent go to first? He went to the woman. Let's continue. Let's go to Genesis 3, verse 16. Now again, this is after the serpent has caused Adam and Eve to fall. It says, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over you. Well, black women reject that. But everybody else on earth accepts that. Every woman, even white women, they accept that a man is supposed to rule over a woman. The Mexicans, the Africans, the Asians, everybody except the man being over the woman. Except black women. That's why no one wants to marry a black woman, because she'll fight you tooth and nail before you rule over her. Now, I had to give that fault to the black man. You should have figured that out before you married her. You saw what kind of woman she was. Hard to handle, hot-tempered, will not get along with nobody. And you married that idiot? That's your fault. And she going to take you to the cleaners if you try to divorce her. Let's go to Leviticus 15. Again, let's see what the law and the prophets say about women. Leviticus 15, verse 19. Leviticus 15 and verse 19. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the evening. You understand what it's saying here? Let's talk about a woman's period. She's unclean. You're not supposed to be around her, and she does not supposed to be around you. She's not supposed to be preparing food or anything like that. She's supposed to be in a separate part of the house, and a separate. Some people, for instance, in some of those Philippines islands, they have a separate house for the woman when she's on her cycle. So she cannot come into the house. Now, coming back into the main house, now how do they know that a woman's supposed to be separate from separated when she's on a cycle? Because most of them are not Christians. Well, I don't know. I can't say that. But I'm pretty sure they were doing that before they became Christians. And that's the same case in all nations of the earth. The man does not want that woman around because of her cycle. And plus, she got an odor about her too. All right? And she knows it. Whenever a woman comes around you, all you smell is perfume. That's the reason why she got all that perfume on. I'm sorry, y'all sisters. I mean, don't look at us. Don't get mad at us. Get mad at Eve. She's the one that caused y'all to have all those problems. Let's go to Jeremiah 31, verse 22. Again, we're looking at what the law and the prophets say about women. Jeremiah 31, verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. A woman shall rule over a man. That's what it's saying. Well, isn't that happening now? That's something new. That's never happened before, for a woman to rule over a man. Men are always the rulers over women. Well, they used to be. Now look at what's happening. You damn near elected a woman president. So Yahweh's not going to have a woman ruling over people's lands. I mean, you're going to have queens for sure, but she's just a figurehead. I mean, a queen is not the whole government. They got, like, for instance, in England and Great Britain, they had the queen sit on the throne, but they had a parliamentary type of government. So she's just a figurehead. So, but again, we got here, well, a woman shall compass a man. That means she's going to be ruling over a man. That's why don't nobody want to marry a black woman. The black woman is a black man's kryptonite. She will do everything to kill him. So if you brothers out there, and you got an insurance policy that is from $100,000 and up, you better sleep with one eye open. Let's go to Isaiah 3, verse 10 to verse 12. Again, we see what the law and the prophets say about women. Isaiah 3, verse 10 to verse 12. Say to the righteous that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. It is wrong for a woman to rule over a man. If you brothers out there that have a woman to rule over you and you're happy with it, you still got to answer for her. There's some brothers that like women to rule over them. I don't know what kind of men these are, but they act like they don't have any choice. Let's continue. Who is right then? The Word of God or the confusion of Christianity? Let me repeat that. Who is right then? The Word of God or the confusion of Christianity? Let's go to Psalm 33, verse 1 to verse 6. Psalm 33, verse 1 to verse 6. Rejoice in Yahweh, O you righteous, for praise is comely for the upright. Praise Yahweh with harp, sing unto him with the psaltery and an instrument of 10 strings. Sing unto him a new song, play skillfully with a loud voice. For the word of Yahweh is right, and all his works are done in truth. He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of the goodness of Yahweh. By the word of Yahweh were the heavens made, and all the hosts of them by the breath of his mouth. We're just talking about his word. We're not talking about Yahweh himself. It's his word that created the heavens and the earth. So he spoke these things into existence. Let's go to, now again, remember I said, by the word of Yahweh were the heavens made, and all the hosts of them by the breath of his mouth, right? Let's go to John chapter 1, verse 1 to verse 5. We're going to look at that in another light. John chapter 1, verse 1 to verse 5, and then verse 15. John chapter 1, verse 1 to verse 5, and verse 15. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. The same was in the beginning with Elohim. Let me read that, because I know you got some Christian watching me now that may not understand Elohim. So let me read how y'all read it. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him. Now let me read this according to what William Tyndale wrote, the first translator of the English Bible, because you got a little discrepancy here, because this word has a gender. It has a pronoun. But according to the first Bible that was translated, let me read to you what it says. All things were made by it, and without it, we're talking about the word here, was not anything made that was made. In it was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Now let me read that again, because we read in Psalm 33, it said, by the word of Yahweh were the heavens made. Now look at these verses again. In the beginning was the word. Well, somebody had to speak the word, didn't they? Was the word hanging out there by itself? The word can't just manifest itself by itself. Somebody had to say something for it to be a word. And the word was with God, and the word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. So God became God, and God was with God. You see what it's saying here? We're still talking about the word. All things were made by it, by the word, and without the word was not anything made that was made. In the word was life, and life was the light of, and the life was the light of men, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Now, the reason I read it like that is because a lot of folk look at those verses and say, well, that's JC, that's Christ. was in the beginning? Well, let's see. Let's skip down to verse 14. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. So if that was Christ, then who is this that was made flesh then? Did Christ get into another man? See, but we're talking about his baptism, okay? He said, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. Well, let's take that to the next level. Let's go to Matthew 3, verse 13 to verse 17. Let's see if that word, we can understand that word a little bit better. Matthew chapter 3, verse 13 to verse 17. Let's look at what it says here. Then cometh Yeshua from Galilee to Jordan unto Johanan to be baptized of him. But Johanan forbade him, saying, I have need to be baptized of thee, and comest thou to me? And Yeshua answering said unto him, Suffer it to be so now, for thus it becometh us to fulfill all righteousness. Then he suffered him. And Yeshua, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water, and lo, the heavens were opened unto him, and he saw the Spirit of Elohim descending like a dove and lighting upon him. And lo, a voice from heaven saying, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. He was not talking about that flesh and blood man. He was talking about that Spirit that came and dwelt upon him. He said, This is my Son, in whom I am well pleased. That was the Word made flesh. You see the connection? It's just being told by two different standpoints. But it's the same message. The Word became flesh at his baptism. So you can't put agenda on the Word, on this particular word, when a word does not have a gender. You can't say the Word is a him or anything else beside him. The Word is an it. And the Word became flesh at his baptism. You understand what we're talking about here? Again, now, Christianity screws this all up. Just because they haven't had anybody to teach them what this word is saying. Let's go to Matthew 27, verse 45 and verse 46. Matthew 27, verse 45 and verse 46. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land unto the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour Yeshua cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? So, that word that became flesh, that Spirit that dwelt upon him like a dove, that was God. And he left him hanging on that tree. That's why he said, why, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why? Because you have become so sinful, I can't hang with you, buddy. See, as long as I was in you, you were sinless. You did not transgress the law. But once you accepted all the sins of the children of Israel and all the sins of the world upon you, I cannot dwell with you anymore. I have to stand away from you now. You have become sinful, and I can't dwell in a sinful man. That's why he left him. Why have you forsaken me? Because you become sinful. All that time, you weren't sin. You didn't transgress. You did not commit one sin as long as that Spirit was in you. But once you accepted all the sins of the world, now the Spirit can't dwell with you. You understand that? Let's continue. Having women in churches with the men was something new. And so Paul had to bring order to the churches as he knew how. This is something new. Women and men did not always meet in a temple. Let's look at that. Let's go to Exodus 38. I think I can squeeze something in here, man. Exodus 38, verse 1 to verse 8. I don't know now. Exodus 38, verse 1 to verse 8. And he made, now this is Moshe building the first tabernacle out there in that wilderness. And he made an altar burnt offering of a shittim wood, 5 cubits was the length thereof, and 5 cubits the breadth thereof. It was 4 square. There's 4 cubits the breadth thereof. It was 4 square, and 3 cubits the height thereof. And he made horns thereof on the 4 corners of it. The horns thereof were of the same, and he overlaid it with brass. And he made all the vessels of the altar, the pots and the shovels, and the basins, and the fresh hooks, and the fire pans. All the vessels thereof were made of brass. And he made for the altar a brazen grate of network under the compass thereof, beneath unto the midst of it. And he cast 4 rings for the 4 ends of the grate of brass to be places for the staves. And he made the staves of shittim wood and overlaid them with brass. And he put staves into the rings of the sides of the altar to bear it withal. And he made the altar hollow with boards. And he made the laver of brass, and the foot of it brass, of the looking glasses of the women assembling, which assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. The women could not come through the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Let's look at another one. Let's go to Numbers 27, verse 1 to verse 3. Numbers 27, verse 1 to verse 3. Then came the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Hefer, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. And these are the names of his daughters, Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, and Milcah, and Tirzah. And they stood before Moshe, and before Eleazar the priest, before the princes and all the congregation, by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, and he was not in the company of them that gathered themselves together against Yahweh in the company of Korah, but died in his own sin and had no sons. They stood at the door of the tabernacles. The women were not allowed beyond that door of the tabernacle. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 18 to verse 22. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 18 to verse 22. But Samuel ministered before Yahweh, being a child girded with a linen ephod. Moreover, his mother made him a little coat and brought it to him from year to year when she came up with her husband to offer the yearly sacrifice. Let me skip down to verse 22. Now Eli was very old and heard all that his son did unto all Israel, how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Now we understand why Paul set the churches up the way he did. He told the women to keep silence in the church, because back in the day, the women were not allowed in the tabernacle or in the temple with the men. You understand that? So Paul was trying to bring order, because the women were inside the church with the men, and that's never happened before. That's why he said, you women, act like you're at the door of the tabernacle and don't say a word. Today, they don't even know anything about all that. You know why? Because they don't read the Bible. All they know is what they know that their parents had told them, or what the neighbor had told them, that, yeah, women should have power in the church. They can be pastors. They can be bishops. So if women keep silence in the church, how can they be pastors and bishops? So that goes back to the point that Paul could not have brought Christianity to the Gentiles, considering what the Gentiles, what black people are doing now. That is not Christianity. Paul did not bring you that. So quit lying on Paul, saying that he brought Christianity to the Gentiles. Not what you're doing today. White folk, you know you made up Christianity. Quit lying on Paul. You made it up yourself. That's why you got so much craziness in the churches. I'm going to stop here. Thank you for joining us. Yahweh bless you and keep you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.